Hey everybody, welcome back to D-Zoned. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. FORSAKEN.WAD, not to be confused with the Windows 95 game. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. Forsaken, author Scott Harper, aka Mad Max, and yada yada, CompuServe, internet, nifty. Author info, novels, novelle, CNE, Doom Junkie / NetDoomer. Description: this is a classic linear level, but as popularity demands, you better watch your back. Not as tricky as Blindside, but playtesters noted that it was just a bit harder in the long run. The direction you must go is obvious, but be careful. You just might make a mistake. You might stumble into a crusher, am I right? How does it feel to be dumped into the heart of an enemy stronghold? Well, you're about to find out. Additional credits to Jim F. Flynn, as always. He inspires as well as he critiques. Also, great utilities. Analyze, dump. Thanks, Jim. Alright, play info. Doom 2, map 1, single player yes, cooperative yes, deathmatch, oh yes, on good machines. Difficulty settings, yes. New sounds, no. New graphics, a few. Editors used, Death 2.3, Anthony Burden and Simon Oak, probably just Oak, I don't know. BSP 1.2x by Colin Reed. You may not use this as a base to build additional levels. How dare you? Finger wag. You may distribute this WAD, provided you include this file with no modifications, and not for money! So, WizardWorks didn't read that. Other WADs by Mad Max. DMBLS, Blindside, Doom 2. BL Side 2, Blindside 2, Doom 2. DM Brundle's Revenge, Doom 1. DM Cast, Castles from Hell, Doom. DM Quad, Doom 1. All available from CompuServe. Go GAM 386 lib 21. Look for Deadlock in the future. I never actually really used CompuServe enough to really know how all that worked. Yeah. We had CompuServe briefly when I was a kid, but mostly we were AOLers until just the general internet sort of overtook it. Alright, so anyway, the following music will be used in this playthrough. For map 1, we've got Tribal Dance by Stuart Wren, and for intermission, we've got River by Stuart Wren. Got a real Stu Boy setup here, so let's go ahead and give this thing a shot. Okay, oh. Wait, there's a little bit of a flickering light right here. Awesome. I'm glad I checked that. Alright, so, I'm getting... God, there's no way in hell I would have found that. Like, when I was first starting this channel... I'm getting better at this game. Did not expect that to be a twofer. Alright, we need to use this one more time to get in. There we go, perfect. Whoa, this is, some pretty neat geometry. I'll bet the node builders from back in the day loved it. Of course, then... Whoa, hey, look at that. Of course, then again, this was, probably later, because it's on D-Zone 3. So, things were a bit more mature at that point. Maybe not the player base, but, yeah, I really... I don't know why. It's just... It looks goofy, but I like it. And, yeah, alright. Sorry, I actually had to absorb the visuals for a little bit, because, I mean, it's maybe a little bit too much of this one texture, but still, it's just, I don't know, this room looks really cool. I just like the way everything's kind of shaped. Anyway. A little bit basic in terms of gameplay, but at least for right now. A little bit too bright for a Spectre to be truly effective. Of course, then again, I say that, but then you think about stuff like Comatose, where, yeah, it really wouldn't have mattered what the light level was. Just that whole thing where it kind of messes with their silhouette. Yeah. That map was creepy. Might be neat to just kind of go through it and, also, yes, I did notice that switch back there. I'm just clearing this out first. But it might be kind of neat to go back through one of these days and Just try to get all the secrets. I don't know. Okay, give me that. Thank you. Okay, yeah, there actually are a lot of enemies here. And if you aren't really... Oops. If you aren't really up on your strafing, yeah, this would be a little rough, wouldn't it? So I wonder if... Because, I mean, I'm seeing these walls here with a different texture. I'm wondering if those switches are what control those. So let's bonk this one first. Okay, yeah. Now what about this one? Well, nice shortcut. Heard something move over here. Yeah, right here. The giant yellow key. I like that. It's cute. Alright, anyway. Oh, nice little trap there. You know, that's one of those cases where you almost wish that you had a monster flag that would just make them wake up silently. Just could you imagine if you just... Well, I mean, there's ways of kind of pulling that off. I don't know if they were really well known back when this was made. But yeah, could you imagine if you just, like, you see the chain gunners turned around and then suddenly Hell Knight? It'd be amazing. But yeah, a couple ways that you could do that is just make it so that this was just slightly exposed. Like, make that just one unit down from the top. Of course, then again, you probably want to raise it up again after the guy woke up. That'd be a little bit unreliable, I guess. The other thing, too, is just using sound propagation sectors, which, that I think is the thing that I'm not sure how well known that was, because this is before we had access to the source code. And I don't know if people... I think that's just... yeah. And I don't know if people had figured that out yet. That just looped around. Huh. So I'd say the biggest issue with this map is just the visuals are kind of flat. When you look in terms of just like the actual gameplay behind the level, it's pretty neat. But yeah, every room just kind of... and the thing that's a little weird about that is that the textures are... or not the textures, but like the actual geometry, it's pretty cool. Alright, what's over here? But yeah, it's like stuff like that kind of stands out like a sore thumb because, well... it's the only different texture in the room. But, yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to see a bit more... Okay, speaking as if the dude is still looking for feedback and critique, but... yeah. Wait, what's over... oh, okay. I think I see how this works. Alright. Anyway. But yeah, it's just kind of, it just seems like every room sort of has its own texture to it. And it doesn't really vary too much from that. And all the floors and the ceilings, all the same. So yeah, this was a bit late to have, I guess, maps that were this simple. But then you've got like this weird geometric stuff going on, like over here. So I don't know, it's just a bit... it's a bit uneven. I mean, I will... definitely big approval for focusing more on gameplay than raw visuals. And that's the thing, it is kind of, I guess, easy to look at this from a modern lens and say, yeah, the gameplay was pretty basic, but this would have been a pretty healthy enemy count for back in the day. Of course, then again, I think by this point in time we had Plutonia. Or we were pretty close to it. I mean, we had, I guess, more clever bits of combat start to show up. Let's just realize I got rockets, but no rocket launcher. So I wonder if I just haven't gotten that particular secret yet, or what. But yeah, like, anyway, this map, like, Plutonia, I'm sure would... I haven't played it in a while. So last time I played Plutonia was before I did the YouTube channel. Kinda. I have mentioned that I did do a, like probably my first ever pistol start thing, but I did a demo of, Go To It way back when. And that was actually technically uploaded before I started Sunlust. Or not Sunlust, holy shit, no I didn't start with, Sunlust, Scythe. So, yeah, I guess it wasn't that far before, but still, I'm pretty sure it could probably still kill me in some areas. This is a bit straightforward, so it's like if you know how to dodge, of course then again I should probably go back for some ammo. Right here, there we go. But yeah, if you know how to dodge, this really isn't a problem. There's more over here. I just want to get as close to 100 as possible. Yeah, there we go. I know I just wasted a bunch of it, but there's kind of a lot of ammo in this level, so not really a big deal. Now, I'm not going to say that I'd advocate for crushers to be randomly strewn in. Also, yay, that looks different. But it would just be kind of nice to have a little bit of, little more combat creativity. And as I've mentioned before, like in terms of the rating scale, but you know, as with the whole YouTube thing, I know like regular viewers can get a little bit annoyed when YouTubers repeat stuff, but you gotta understand, we have no control over which videos everyone watches. This could randomly show up in someone's recommended and they won't know what's going on. But, there we go. In fact, should probably come up with some sort of hook like, welcome to D-Zone, where we'll make your 90s nightmares come to life. But, anyway, I digress. I had to have missed a rocket launcher. I'm going to go back for a second. That way I'm not complaining about missing weapons when they're just right there. But, alright, anyway, to the point. As far as my rating scale is concerned, it's funny because this originally was not a rated series. That's something that came, like, a bit later. But, yeah. Generally speaking, it's like, gameplay can only bring a map up to an 8, roughly. Unless it does something really exceptional. The thing that brings it beyond the, like an 8, roughly, is, like just visual flair, or gameplay that's really that good. I haven't really stuck with that as close as I probably intend to, but yeah, definitely when you get up to like the 9 point, it's got to be a pretty, at this point in the game, anyway, it's got to be a pretty phenomenal map before it can go and take those final few steps up to 10. So it either has to be ridiculously fun, or, you know, surprisingly good graphically. And right now, this one's sitting very comfortably at like an 8, 8.5, somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, there's the rocket launcher. Should have just moved a little further up. But, yeah, it's like, it's not really doing anything. It's very good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not doing anything remarkable enough to, kind of push it beyond that point. Oop. I'm guessing it's that switch over there. So yeah, like I said, mostly, despite the combat being kind of fun, there's nothing, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of anything special going on with it, I guess. Alright. Oop. Wow. Well, when you have momentum, you just can't get yourself off of a rampaging Hell Knight. But yeah, in terms of like I would like to see monster closets, traps, stuff like that. There really hasn't been any of that when you look at it. I gotta say though, the quirky Stew Boy tune is really kind of selling it a little bit. It is tempting to use the rocket launcher against these dudes, but at the same time, I don't want to use, I don't want to end up using that many shots. So where did those guys come from? Hold up a second. World? I mean, that just kind of shows up on the map. Interesting. Alright, so there's another red door. Did I just come here early, or? I don't know. Alright, well, whatever. We've got a, basically got a megasphere now, so cool. No more shells. Well, at least not in that area. There's also another one over here. There's not really a very good indication that there's actually something there. I wonder if they came from one of those. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, a bunch of pillars ended up lowering. That makes sense. So, right about... Ah, player corpse. Right. And this kind of smells like normal progression, which... that's a little nasty. That's more of something that should just mark a secret. Although it does appear on the map, so that's like one of those... It's like I tend to say, because, well, there's... For non-mappers out there, there's essentially a flag that you can use to make it so that doors, which normally would appear like, oh, not like that. There's not that many doors in this map, is there? And this one's already open, but you saw how it appeared white. That's with DSDA colors. It would actually be yellow in dsda-doom's defaults, or Doom's defaults. But like normally the walls will appear kind of like this. There's a flag that'll make even like doors, like two-sided lines, appear like that. And that's what id usually uses for secrets. That's why you can't just readily see them on the auto map. Now if you have like that kind of madness, oh, kudos for letting the player jump out the window at least. But if you have stuff like that, like even if it looks like a secret, like the wall is just normal and there's just like a player corpse in front of it to mark it off, which is something you'd expect from a secret. I'll normally take a full point off for that because I don't think that in a normal map secrets should be required for progression. If you're making a puzzle map, then sure thing, just do your thing. But for something like this, that's not what I'd consider acceptable. However, because it does show up on the map, or because it did show up on the map, instead of taking a full mark off, I'm just going to take a half a mark. That sort of thing. God, I'm trying to make sense of what used to be an arbitrary grading scale. What's going on here? It's almost like I'm taking this semi-seriously or something. Oh. I was using that for cover. It was very rude. Oh. Oh, it's that random elevator thing. My favorite sector type. Or sector, or line def action, if you will. There's not a pain. No, there isn't. Okay. There's pains in the asses, but there's no pain elemental. That's good. There's one thing that's kind of nice about Doom 2 is even if you don't get the rocket launcher, as long as you get the SSG, Barons really aren't that bad. They're not great. Not in general use, but they're not bad. Oh, there's a pain in the ass elemental. Alright. Ah, you missed your opportunity. That's funny. Well, we're given bullets. Let's use the bullets. At least for these two guys. Alright, there we go. I will say it was a good option, or a good move by the map designer to not give the player too many powerful weapons and to limit the number of rockets. I say as I pick up a plasma rifle. Oh well. Even so, they were pretty well regulated, you know? Archvile? No? Okay. I was expecting something spicy. Alright, so I'm kind of curious now. I want to go to the... Yeah, this was also a really well-hidden secret, but again, it appeared on the map, and it's a secret, so... Okay, so this is where you get some extra juice. Oh, boy. Actually, no. God, chain gunners do a lot of damage. No, this is also just where you... That doesn't open. Alright, let's... Oh, I see. Okay, that was pretty clever. You get that half mark back. Alright, so basically, if you end up hitting this through the secret door, you get to actually clear out the top section before the whole thing sinks. That's a flickering light. It's probably going to teleport me, right? So, let's go ahead and just bring this thing out. Oh. I was expecting a bit more of a trap than that, but, oh, jeez. Yeah, this is the problem with Barons. Like, in cases like this, where you have... Really, there's nothing stopping you. They're just painfully tedious. It's like in almost all cases, like including but not limited to that one, it usually works better to just add more Hell Knights. Because when you think about it, in terms of gameplay, Hell Knights are as dangerous from an attack perspective as one Baron, and they have half the hit points. So if you use 2 Hell Knights, you've got the HP equivalent of 2 Barons, or sorry, of 1 Baron, but you have the danger factor of 2 Barons. So yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting from just like a kind of a psychological perspective, where technically if you're fighting like 3 Hell Knights at the same time, for example, in kind of like a tight area, you've technically got a Baron and a half in terms of hit points, but I think generally speaking the fight is more interesting. It's kind of a shame the interesting fights in this map are so backloaded. And, oop, yep, that's hurt floor. Be a little careful of that. Especially since I took so much damage to the chain gunners. Yeah, the biggest threat, the hit scanners, go figure, and almost that Pinky, because he almost caused me to face rocket. Yeah, like, I think in this case here, of course, then again, this was also, like, mid-90s. But yeah, like, for this fight, I think having more Hell Knights would have been more interesting, because Barons work well in tight spots. For something like this, where there's plenty of room to... where there's plenty of room to move around and shoot them. Yeah, it just... That's when they start to feel tedious. Oh, there's no... Oh, jeez. What did that other switch do? I wonder. Yeah, like smaller areas like this with mid-tiers, yeah, I can get behind that. Alright, but anyway, let's go ahead and see what that switch does. Okay, probably the same thing as that. It's just another way of lowering it. It's a little bit of mobile cover, too. Ow. Man, if my nukage rhythm could get any worse. Just give me that. No, don't jump over it. OMG, Doom equals 3D game. WT, fuck. This is a weird section, but I'm kind of digging it. There we go. Oh, man. Well, hey, at least the whole honeycomb thing isn't a new trend. Oh, balls. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Ugh. Alright, there we go. So, why are you giving me a megasphere? Archvile? Yep. Back before people really knew how to use them. I mean, he is going to be effective, but the megasphere pretty much just, like, removes his claws, more or less. Alright, yeah. Well, he wasn't lying. That was a pretty linear map. Oh, man. Mixed thoughts, as you could imagine, but generally a positive experience. A lot of fighting, just some pretty steady action, just kind of all throughout the whole experience. However, I think a lot of those complaints still stand. The combat, despite being energetic, was still pretty basic, which, I mean, that's alright, I guess, but I think the problem is more with the map length, because you don't really start getting any interesting variance in the combat until just the very end. I think you had like 2 traps where Hell Knights would, I don't even know if I want to call them traps. There was that one where you go down into that area with like 6 chain gunners and then a Hell Knight just lowers behind you. But, I mean, that's kind of bleh. And then you've got that other one, which wasn't really a trap, where you go into that one section, then you go back and there's Hell Knights that lowered from the pillars. It's like, you had to backtrack anyway, so can you really call that a trap? I don't know. I think with this map, just given the size of some of the rooms, it could have really used with some just like teleporter closets, things along that nature. Or just like the thing at the end, like with the little kind of honeycomb-shaped section where you would drop into pits and have small mini arenas. That could have maybe been explored a little bit more. There was some use of like more tedious enemies like barons, which really didn't need to be done. Maybe in the honeycomb section, just to add a little bit of pressure, but with the huge areas you were in, it really didn't do much. Honestly, and this is going to sound funny, but I actually think id kind of already showed off like the best use of barons in E1M8. Because you figure it was a fairly open arena with 2 barons on lower difficulties. Not really a big deal, but if you had problems dodging, it was going to be a problem. Because, I mean, they could do up to 64 damage per ranged attack. Or up to 80 for a melee. So it's like you had to keep on the move, but you had plenty of room, so it was fine. However, in Ultraviolence, they add in all those specters, which kind of, one, makes it so it's more dangerous to use your rockets because it's a darker area, and it fills up a lot of the space, so that spacious arena ends up just kind of condensing itself in, especially if you're not really sure what to expect. But it's like in so many of these maps, and this is why I complain about the Baron usage, is they'll just have a single Baron in a wide open field, and, you know, that's just, you know, we were taught better than that, I guess. Oh, well. So, I don't know, this one, it was a little bit of a mixed bag. Like I said, I came with it generally more positive, but in terms of visuals, they were a bit flat. I've already talked about the combat at length throughout. There was that one secret mandatory progression that, so I don't know. In general, I'm going to basically give it a little bit above the 8, just because of, it's going to be one of those, like, up and down things, because the base experience, I'd say maybe slightly above the 8, just because the combat was pretty polished overall. However, you had the mandatory secret, which, you know, half marks for that, because it does show up on the auto map, so I'm going to rate this one, I don't know. I think it would be nice and call it an 8.5. Had some cool geometric things going on, but it really could have done well with having some just more interesting texturing. stuff like the giant yellow key wall was, I mean, that was pretty fun. That was pretty cool, but I don't know, you need more flourishes like that. Or maybe not even like that, but just better use of the vanilla textures. I mean, the fact that most of the map used the same flats, like the same floor and ceiling texture, on repeat. No, that's not. It's not good. Like I don't rate heavily on visuals, but when you start getting to this point where you're in the upper tiers, then yeah, that kind of becomes an issue. But yeah, that's about where we stand. 8.5. Quite good. But it could have been better. I don't know. But I think that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.